This is the lineup for the men's cox pairs. One in Gifu last year in the World Championships in Japan by Australia, so there'll be a new name on the Roll of Honour.
Yeah, I know. This is an event to make your mark in. It's not the top event in the team, but it's for young guys trying to get in, or maybe some of the old ones trying to hang on. But always the hardest in the cox pairs to get that boat off the start, and boy, do you have to heave it. And it's a clean start for all these guys in the race.
Closest to Greece, two from the bottom there, Serbia. Of course, Serbia, which is now its own independent country, having, in a very amicable way, divided from Montenegro, which doesn't actually have a rowing federation yet, but the Serbians are going to help them get it going. Germany, and then stretching out to the United States. That's three from the top of your picture. Then two away, the Italians, and on the far side, the Canadians. And always important to get a good start, but particularly in lane one. That's been an imperative right through this regatta, Martin.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. I'm not sure what it is about lane one. I know certainly in the tailwind you want to get out quick, because if the water does get rough towards the last 250 metres, say, you don't want to be kind of hanging on trying to fight your way through. So a good start's really important, and it does seem that lane one has had that kind of profile. But these two, well, big bruisers from the States out in front, I guess they might be favourites for this, because they won the race for lanes earlier in the week. That was so close, that race, and so far it seems that these crews are very well matched today.
Well, if they can get anywhere near the world best time, they'll do well in this sort of boat. The Americans are two debutants, of course, under the tutorship of Mike Tatey. We're all looking forward to seeing his eight perform tomorrow in that final. Interestingly enough, Brian Price, the coxswain in that Canadian cox pair over there, this has got to be something of a consolation prize, because amazingly, the Canadian eight has not qualified for the final.
Yeah, I know, and that is almost a sensation with somebody like as experienced as Mike Spracklin involved in the squad, and I think they're going to be struggling to find a medal, and certainly, you know, Canadian rowing has got a lot to do to be up there challenging for Beijing.
Well, the Americans a good start, and you can see that they're now being taken on just out of picture here by Serbia, who are just beginning to move now.
Yeah, interesting. The Serbians are so experienced in this kind of small boat rowing, coxless pairs, cox pairs, and you know, this is almost an event that the Serbians would pick and say, well, we're going to win a medal in the lower standard event. And well, those two Americans, they're not looking out the boat, they're straight ahead. But if they care to glance across, the Serbians have exploded in this second 500.
They have indeed. Canada just moving into silver medal position. The Italians, the meat in the sandwich on the far side there, I have to say at the moment, Dario Serasola and Francesco Gabrielli, they look rather uncomfortable. Yeah,
they do. It's an interesting start. I'd say they're almost kind of cutting their finishes out a bit too short. They're quite powerful. The thing about Italians are you're always going to see a spurt from them at the finish.
Yeah, and of course, this was one of the boat classes in which the great Abagnalis reigned supreme for so long. Before, well, the Olympics '92, the Searles got their revenge.
Yeah, I have to say it was fantastic when cox pairs was a top standard Olympic event, because you had cox pairs and single sculls, and they were around about the same time. And now we've got, well, world record in single sculls is about 6:36, and these guys are what they're going to do about 6:48, 6:50-ish. The standard is obviously much, much slower, but well, yeah. 3:23 through 1,000, I think that's on a decent pace, and these guys are going to be very, very hard to catch.
Well, 1:42.78 is the time for the Serbian second quarter there, so that's the reason why they put themselves in such a strong position. They're in a good position also because they can look to their right, and if anybody is going to make a move, they've now got plenty of time to react. And there's the young man in the boat there, that's Jovan Popovic, and he's got all the benefit of Stoich's experience in the bow.
Yeah, and that's so comforting to have that behind you. But they kind of look, I mean, they look the longest crew in this race, to be quite frank, and also technically I think they look the most accomplished, fairly relaxed. Just a little look across there from the bowman Nikola Stoic, and he's got a few words. I guess that Stoic might be doing most of the calling. I don't know whether the cox Ivan Ninkovic will actually take a key role in this, but somebody of Stoic's experience from the bow seat, well, certainly if I was rowing there, I think I'd want to call the race.
Well, we talked about youngsters. He's only 17. In fact, it was his birthday yesterday, so the way it's going, he's going to have the best birthday present of all.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if you're going to row a race, look at this. I mean, we had no idea of this when we saw the race for lanes. I mean, the Serbians did lead that, but they came in in fourth place, maybe a length down on the winners, but I guess they were hiding this fantastic form in the middle thousand. I mean, such great endurance. And well, just look at the length there. I mean, they get right round the pin, stretch right round. And what's more than that, they're very, very direct and quick into the water in these tailwind conditions. And that's accelerating this very heavy boat at its best potential.
Past the helter-skelter, just into the last quarter of the race now, and Serbia look to have this wrapped up, but the Italians now really breathing all over the Canadians, and the Americans, well, big as they are, but they've really faded badly, and it is the two Italians which are giving chase there, or I should say three, because Andrea Riva is their coxswain from Como, the other two boys from Palermo and Naples, but the Serbians, well, unless something untoward happens, they've got this one wrapped up, Martin.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the interesting thing is going to be where the minor medals go, because there will be a closing up for places. I mean, the two Canadians, again, very competitive, certainly in under 23/8 last year, trying to force their way into the major side, and the Italians with that fast sprint finish. So although we can see the Serbians out there, there's a great race going on for the medal positions behind them.
And 1:43.38 for the Serbians in the third quarter, and they have just opened it up. And on the far side there, it is Italy and Canada. Italy just getting the better of the argument. Canada on the far side. The Americans trying to counter-attack as well, trying to come back at the Canadians to deny them the bronze medal. It looks as if the Italians now have made silver their own. It's between the Americans and the Canadians coming past the big screen. The Serbians with about 10 strokes to go to the line, and they are not going to be caught. And this is quite possibly the first sporting gold medal for Serbia since they've become a new independent country. And Nikola Stoic comes through with Jovan Popovic in the stroke seat, and their young coxswain Ivan Ninkovic to take gold. Italy takes silver, Canada bronze ahead of the Americans, then Germany, and finally it will be Greece to come across the line.
Two very important medals there. Serbia aren't going to get a lot of this World Championships, and Canada too with their 8 not making the final, so don't underestimate the importance of this win.